Hi everyone, it's Erin from Wild Birds Unlimited. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about hummingbirds. So hummingbirds are awe-inspiring and adorable, and they're those tiny little micro fighter jets that every bird watcher wants to attract to their backyard. In Alberta, typically, it's particularly around the Edmonton area, the hummingbird that we see is called the Ruby-Throated Hummingbird. They have an iridescent green back, and the males have a beautiful red feathered throat that you just can't miss, and they're just a delight to have in your backyard. So hummingbirds, typically their migration is triggered by daylight, and bird watchers will find that they'll come back to the same area during the same week, maybe even the same day each year. Sometimes they rebuild their nest, and other times they are renovating the nest that they used last year and they'll reuse it. They are incredibly resilient birds. In fact, they can beat their wings in a figure-8 pattern up to 80 times a second, if you can believe that. And that figure-8 pattern is what provides the lift for them to be able to hover, which is one of just those amazing attributes that only hummingbirds can do. So the motion is a lot like what you would do while you're treading water in deep water. Ruby-throated hummingbird is a very territorial bird. They will defend their territory against much larger birds and even other larger animals, and even you if you happen to walk past and they don't want you to see or get to their nest. And what happens is the male returns before the female, and he'll stake out his territory, and then the female will come back. She will get busy building her perfect, amazing little nest, and she will use lichen and downy material that she can find, and then she will weave it together using spider webs and tree sap. And that nest is so hidden that actually hummingbirds are very successful nesters because they are so covert and so well hidden. Can you believe that that tiny nest is about the size of an English walnut? And the mama bird will lay typically 2 pea-sized eggs in the nest. And it's pretty incredible. They will have 2 broods in a year, and sometimes the female will be building her next nest while she still has nestlings in the old nest. So hummingbirds drink nectar from flowers. They eat many, many tiny bugs, and they drink the sap from tree wells made by sapsuckers. Hummingbirds have this amazing ability to remember where their food sources are. And that's why setting out nectar is a really great way to try and attract them to your backyard. They'll remember where to come for that tasty snack, and then you'll get to enjoy having them around during the summer when they feel like having a little drink of nectar right before your eyes. So I have a few tips to get you started with attracting hummingbirds to your backyard, and my first tip for you is to select a brightly colored feeder. So this one is bright red. Oftentimes hummingbirds will learn very early to associate brightly colored flowers with nectar. I like this particular feeder because it's very easy to open and close. You just pop off the lid. There is a built-in ant moat. It has a very high perch, so that no matter where the hummingbird decides to land on this feeder, you'll be able to see it. There's no big bottle in the way, because birds are funny. Invariably, they will always land on the other side of whatever object is blocking your view from them. So there's also some nectar tip guards available for this particular model if you're having trouble with wasps. And it is dishwasher safe, easy enough to wash just with some soap and water or vinegar and water. My second tip is to make your own nectar. It's really easy. You just need 1 part regular white table sugar and 4 parts water. Just bring it to a boil, let it cool, and pop it in your nectar feeder, and you're ready to go. Just keep any extra in the fridge. please don't purchase any hummingbird nectar that has red dye in it or add it to your nectar. It's unnecessary. The jury's still out on whether it can harm your hummingbirds, but you don't need it. You have a brightly colored hummingbird feeder. If you're going to feed them nectar, ensure that you keep this hummingbird feeder as clean as possible. So I freshen the nectar every 3 days. Just to make sure there's no bacteria growth in it, and I wash it out. And again, if you rinse it with vinegar, that takes any soapy residue off. Sometimes they don't, if there is soapy residue, they don't like that taste and won't come back to your feeder. So that is really important, just to keep it as clean as possible. If I'm attracting birds to my yard, I don't want to do them any harm. So my third tip for having hummingbirds come back to your yard is to provide the entire habitat that they are going to want to live in. So making sure that your yard has things like water in it. If you have a bird bath or even just a sprinkler on a mist setting, hummingbirds love to bathe and preen their feathers, and so they will do that. If you've got shelter in your yard, you need trees and shrubs because they're going to eat the bugs that are living on those trees and shrubs, but they will also use it to hide in and sit in and build their nest in and protect themselves from predators inside those trees and shrubs. So make sure you've got that, and then also plant lots of brightly colored flowers near your feeder and around your yard. So as I've said before, this is not their primary food source. They'll come to this for a snack, and that's always really joyful to be able to see them, but to know that you've got a whole yard where they can set up shop is just fantastic. So if you've got things like honeysuckle, bee balm, columbine, salvia, foxglove, zinnias, Asiatic lilies, anything that has kind of a tubular bell shape and is a bright color, they're going to go for that. So I wish you every success. A lot of people have had success attracting hummingbirds to their yard, and I hope that you are one of those people. Good luck to you, and enjoy your hummers this summer.